I'd focus on connecting giving to impact and to spiritual growth. Essentially, that's it. When we talk about giving, we want to talk about impact. When we talk about money, we want to talk about the spiritual relationship to money. The donors need to give. The Christians need to be generous as part of our spiritual formation.
Mm.
We have to be really aware of the different generational uh, uh, viewpoints. We know the builders generation, they supported the institution. So you could talk about the church's need to give, but that is faltering with each generation, and the need to speak about impact and make those connections and show what you're doing really win the household's attention, because of the propensity to shift giving from the church to other nonprofits, and some of which are faith-based nonprofits. And so people are saying, well, I don't see the change happening in my church, so I'm going to give to Campus Crusade, or I'm going to give to another ministry that I think is making a greater impact. So we've got to tell those stories, and we need to understand the motivation behind each one of them. And when we look at over half of the potential giving households we have in a church, they're millennials and down. And the brand loyalty, if we think our denomination is going to help, or our church name is going to help us, it truly is not, unless we can demonstrate that. They don't have that institutional drive. In fact, they don't tend to trust organized institutions like the church. So the more we speak from that perspective, an institution perspective versus a donor-centric perspective, the less connection we're going to make. We also need to be communicating differently to our ministry and financial leaders, our core ministry supporters, and the crowd. In the church, if we just look at giving in the typical church across the board in the US, half of the households that gave to the church in the year gave less than $200, and that accounts for less than 5% of total giving. So we need to recognize that when we say how many givers do we have in the church, all givers are not equal. All servers are not equal. All leaders are not equal, and we need to start communicating, developing these folks differently, instead of thinking that one size fits all. And then, when this is sort of summarizing this change in communication strategy. At the end of the day, communication strategy around generosity is to inform the listener, to inspire the listener, and to invite the listener. So we're trying to move them along the discipleship pathway, or the generosity pathway. We would encourage you to create that as well. But when we're sending communication out, did we give them the information they needed? Did we inspire them? And do we understand what that looks like? Because a story of one person is far more impactful than a story of 6 or 10 or 25. So how we inspire them is important. And did we invite them? Was there a call to action? Did we ask them to do something where they literally have to make a response to it? And that is how you form communication. And sometimes you just put out informational pieces, but the strategy has got to be of moving people more and more to a Christ-like state, is inform, inspire, and invite.